Let me ask you something right now. And don't answer with your head, answer with your heart. Are you truly growing? Or are you just going through the motions? Are you waking up with purpose or just waking up? Because the truth is, most people are surviving their lives instead of living them. They're chasing happiness like it's out there somewhere. But what if I told you happiness isn't something you find, it's something you build? And growth, it's not a luxury, it's a requirement if you want to feel alive. Today, I'm going to give you 9 rules, not tricks, not trends, but timeless, soul-deep principles that can reshape the way you live, the way you love, and the way you lead yourself. If you stay with me to the end, I promise you this. You'll walk away with the clarity, courage, and conviction to stop existing and start evolving. This is about stepping into the version of you that's been waiting, not someday, but now. And let me tell you something I learned the hard way. Nobody is coming to save you. Nobody is going to hand you the life you want, the peace you crave, the happiness you dream about when you're lying in bed at night. And that's not bad news. That's great news. Because the moment you realize that you are the one in control is the moment your life begins to change. See, most people go through life with their foot on the brake and their finger pointed at someone else. It's my boss. It's the economy. It's my childhood. It's just how I am. And I get it. Life hits hard. We all carry wounds. We all have a story. But here's the truth. Pain is real, but suffering, that's a choice. And when you keep outsourcing your power, you stay stuck in the same loop, waiting, hoping, blaming. Radical responsibility changes everything. The moment I stopped blaming the world and started owning my world, everything shifted. Because when you blame, you give away your power. But when you take responsibility, you take it back. And I'm not talking about guilt. This isn't about beating yourself up. This is about getting honest and getting clear. If your life isn't where you want it to be, it's not someone else's job to fix it. It's yours. And that's exciting. That's liberating. Because now the pen is in your hand. You get to write the next chapter. You get to define what success, happiness, love, and growth mean to you. Not based on what your parents told you, not based on social media, not based on what anyone else expects from you, but based on your vision, your soul, your values. But here's the part most people miss. Responsibility. It doesn't mean controlling everything. It doesn't mean micromanaging life. It means taking full ownership of your choices, your reactions, your energy. You can't control the weather, but you can choose whether you dance in the rain or curse the storm. You can't control what people say about you, but you can choose whether you let it define your worth. When you stop saying, why is this happening to me? And start asking, how is this happening for me? You become unstoppable. Let me give you a simple example. Imagine you're in a car, and every time you hit a red light, you scream and curse and complain. What does that do? Nothing. You're still stuck. You're still not moving. But if instead you take a deep breath and use that red light to reflect, to reset, to choose your next thought, now you're taking control. Now you're driving your life, not just riding along with the chaos. And that's what this is really about. You've got to become the driver, not the passenger. Stop waiting for permission. Stop waiting for the perfect moment. Growth doesn't come when everything's easy. It comes when you decide, in the middle of the mess, this is my life, and I will not let it pass by while I wait for the world to change. You are not put here to be passive. You are not designed to live small, to shrink, to apologize for your dreams. You were built to rise. But rising starts with responsibility, not the kind that weighs you down, the kind that lifts you up, the kind that says, I may not have caused this, but I'm going to lead through it. I may not control it all, but I control what I do next. So what's your next move? What are you done blaming? What are you finally ready to own? Because that's where your power lies, right there in that decision. Most people carry way too much. Emotionally, mentally, even spiritually. They're dragging yesterday into today and wondering why they can't move forward, wondering why they feel stuck. But listen closely. Growth isn't just about what you add to your life. It's just as much about what you release. You can't climb if you're holding on to everything that's weighing you down. We live in a world that teaches us to accumulate achievements, followers, opinions, stuff. But no one teaches us how to let go. And yet, real transformation starts not when you get something new, but when you finally drop the old. You can't move into the next chapter of your life if you're still rereading the last one. Let me tell you something that might sting a little. Some of the things you're holding on to are the very things blocking your joy. Some of the beliefs you've been protecting are the ones stealing your peace. Maybe it's a story that says you're not good enough. Right? Maybe it's a person you've outgrown, but you're scared to outgrow them. Maybe it's a failure you keep replaying your head like a broken record, hoping somehow it will play out differently this time. But the past doesn't change. You do, and the moment you choose to release what no longer serves you, you create space for clarity, space for healing, space for something greater. Letting go is not weakness, it's strength. It's not about giving up, it's about rising up. It's about making a decision that says, I will no longer be a prisoner of my own mind. I will no longer carry what doesn't belong to my future. You want to grow? You want real, lasting happiness? Start asking yourself this. What am I holding on to that I know deep down I need to release? That's not an easy question. But the answers are where your freedom lives. For some of you, it's control. You're trying to control every outcome, every conversation, every person around you, but you're not controlling things. You're exhausting yourself. Growth doesn't happen in a clenched fist. It happens when you open your hand. For others, it's guilt or shame, something from your past that keeps whispering in your ear. You're not worthy. You messed it up. You'll never change. But that's not truth. That's trauma. That's a ghost. And as long as you keep feeding it, it'll keep haunting you. But the moment you face it, the moment you say, I'm done letting my past dictate my future, that ghost loses its power. And maybe for you, it's letting go of people, not with anger, not with hate, but with love, with peace. Because some people were meant to be in your life for a season, not a lifetime. And holding on just because it's familiar only delays your growth. It doesn't make you loyal, it makes you stuck. You see, letting go isn't about pretending something never mattered. It's about honoring it for what it was and freeing yourself to become who you're meant to be now. Look, you cannot pour new water into a cup that's already full. You want new results, new breakthroughs, new levels of joy? Empty the cup. Clean out the old mindsets, the outdated identities, the survival patterns you don't need anymore. Because growth doesn't come from gripping harder. It comes from surrender. And don't get it twisted, surrender doesn't mean defeat. It means trust. It means trusting that what's in front of you is more powerful than what's behind you. It means trusting yourself enough to move forward even when it's uncomfortable, even when it hurts. There's a reason trees shed their leaves. There's a reason snakes shed their skin. Nature knows what we sometimes forget. Shedding is survival. Letting go isn't the end. It's the beginning of becoming something new. So what are you ready to release today? What weight have you carried long enough? Because the lighter you become, the higher you rise. Everybody wants to feel like they're winning, like they're making progress, but so many people are paralyzed, completely stuck, because they're waiting to get it perfect. They're waiting for the perfect time, the perfect strategy, the perfect version of themselves before they make a move. And let me just say this as clearly as I can, perfection is a lie. It doesn't exist. It's a trap. It's the fastest way to kill momentum, kill joy, and kill growth. See, the people who grow, the people who thrive, they're not the ones who get everything right. They're the ones who keep moving, even when it's messy, even when they're scared, even when they have no clue how it's all going to work out. Progress isn't always pretty. Sometimes it's painful. Sometimes it's awkward. Sometimes it looks like taking one step forward and two steps back. But that's still movement. That's still learning. That's still life pushing you forward. And I get it. We've all been taught to fear failure, to see mistakes as something to be ashamed of. But failure isn't the opposite of success. It's the foundation of it. Every breakthrough in your life is built on the bricks of mistakes, setbacks, rejections. That's how you grow stronger. That's how you get wiser. That's how you build resilience, not in the wins, but in the struggle. Think about it. A baby doesn't wait until it's read 3 books on walking to take its first step. It just tries. It falls. It gets back up. And eventually that wobble turns into a stride. But somewhere along the way, we stopped doing that. We started thinking we have to look good while we grow. We have to have the answer before we ask the question. We stopped giving ourselves permission to be beginners. But here's the thing. Every master was once a mess. Every success story started with someone who is willing to look stupid, willing to risk, to stumble, to try again. That's what separates the people who stay stuck from the people who rise. The courage to move without certainty. And when you start valuing progress over perfection, something powerful happens. You get your power back. You stop waiting. You stop hesitating. You start living. Because it's not about doing everything. It's about doing the next right thing. Taking the next step, even if it's small, even if it's shaky. That's how confidence is built. Not from thinking your way into it, but from acting your way into it. Every time you take action, you prove to yourself that you're capable. Every time you choose movement over fear, you build momentum. And momentum is magic. Because once you've got momentum, you don't need motivation, you've got motion. And it compounds, it builds on itself. One day you're walking, the next day you're running, and before you know it, you're flying. Because you didn't let perfection slow you down. You gotta stop asking, is this the right step? And start asking, is this my step? You already know what to do. Deep down, you know. Your gut knows. Your heart knows. The problem isn't knowing, it's acting. Start where you are. Use what you have. Trust what you feel. And if you fall, beautiful. That means you're in the game. That means you're alive. That means you're growing. You'll never look back at your life and say, I wish I'd waited longer to start. You say, I wish I'd started sooner. So why not now? Why not today? Why not you? Because every small win matters. Every tiny victory counts. And when you stack those up day after day, you don't just change your habits, you change your identity. You stop being someone who hesitates and start becoming someone who moves, someone who leads, someone who lives fully. So don't wait for perfect. Perfect is the enemy of progress. Just take the next step because your life is waiting for you on the other side of action, energy, passion, purpose. Those aren't just buzzwords. They're the fuel of personal growth. They're the heartbeat of a meaningful life. You want to grow? You want to feel truly, deeply alive? Then stop running on empty. Stop burning yourself out trying to please everyone, fix everything, or chase goals that don't even belong to you. Growth doesn't come from grinding yourself into the ground. It comes from learning how to feed the fire inside. Every single day, too many people are exhausted, not because they're doing too much, but because they're doing too little of what actually lights them up. They wake up tired, drag themselves through the day, numb out at night, and then wonder why they feel stuck. That's not a life. That's a slow drain of your soul. And I'm telling you, you don't have to live like that. You were not built to run on survival mode. You were built to thrive. But thriving takes intention. It takes clarity. It takes protecting your energy like your life depends on it. Because it does. You've got to start asking yourself the hard questions. What actually gives me energy? What drains it? Who in my life lifts me up and who pulls me down? What activities bring me closer to who I want to be? What habits are pulling me further away? Those answers are your blueprint, your map, because where your energy goes, your life follows. You don't just stumble into passion, you create it, you cultivate it. And that starts by giving yourself permission to reconnect with what you love, what excites you, what you would do even if no one clapped, even if no one paid. That thing that makes you feel like time disappears when you're doing it. That's your spark, that's your edge. And when you build your life around that, everything changes. But here's the trap. A lot of people know what they love. They're just too busy to do it, too responsible, too committed to things that don't align. And listen, I respect responsibility. I honor commitment, but not at the cost of your spirit, not at the cost of who you truly are. Because if you lose yourself while trying to keep everything else running, then what's the point? You've got to protect your energy with boundaries. You've got to nourish it with habits, and you've got to elevate it with purpose. That means moving your body, fueling your mind, staying connected to something bigger than yourself, whether it's faith, contribution, creativity, whatever gives you a sense of meaning beyond the day-to-day grind. You need that. We all need that. And don't think purpose is some huge mountain you need to climb. Purpose is found in the present. It's in how you show up, how you love, how you serve, how you lead yourself when no one's watching. Purpose isn't something you chase, it's something you choose. But when you feed that fire, when you align your energy, your focus, and your actions with what matters most, you become magnetic. You start attracting opportunities, people, and experiences that reflect the best in you. Because the world changed, but because you did. You showed up with more clarity, more intention, more aliveness. And that's when growth becomes effortless. Because it's no longer a grind, it's a byproduct of alignment. When your energy is high and your purpose is clear, growth becomes natural. You stop forcing it and start flowing with it. You wake up excited. You move through life with momentum. You become someone others look to and say, what is they doing differently? And the answer is simple. You stopped dimming your light. You started feeding your fire. So don't wait for permission. Don't wait for a breakdown to finally make a breakthrough. Start now. Start small if you have to, but start. Reclaim your energy, rediscover your passion, realign with your purpose, because once you do, happiness won't be something you chase, or it'll be something you embody, because the most powerful version of you is the one who's fully lit from within.